Hello and welcome to Access Asia. I'm Thomas Waterhouse and here's what's coming up. China believes the Covid-19 outbreak is largely under control, but as lessons are learnt about the virus, the government bans the sale and consumption of certain wild animals. The lockdown leaves the looms lying idle as textile factories close across India. Workers have no income or help. We'll be speaking to a photographer who's captured the same crisis in Bangladesh. And the sizzling grills are switched off and the smell of spices lingers no more. The pandemic pushes Asia's food vendors off the streets, but they're still cooking up a storm. First then, the petri dish for the coronavirus outbreak is thought to be a wildlife market in the Chinese city of Wuhan. Experts are confident that the human consumption of the livestock on sale was the cause of the pandemic. The Beijing government has now imposed strict restrictions, leaving many sellers and breeders out of pocket. Our team in China reports.
This old market in the heart of Guangzhou in southern China is bustling again. The coronavirus outbreak seems under control. Buyers and sellers are back in business. The stalls are full: fruit, vegetables, meat, but also live turtles, toads, and eels. On this amateur footage of similar markets before the epidemic, you can see live animals for sale in cages. Cats, dogs, porcupines, but also civet cats. But ever since the market in Wuhan has been designated as ground zero for the coronavirus pandemic, the sale and consumption of some wild animals are now banned in China. In this report broadcast on February 24th, the day the ban was announced, a biodiversity researcher specified which animals could be eaten.
吃什么不吃什么呢？其实就吃人工繁育的，也就是所谓的驯化动物，而不要吃野生动物。就像大家都知道的，鸡、鸭、猪、兔子，什么这些都是比较稳定的。但是这几十年来，
A few weeks ago, the Agriculture Ministry drafted a list of edible animals. Pangolins, civet cats, dogs, and bats were not included. But putting an end to this practice won't be easy. In China, many people depend on the wildlife trade. In the south of the country, many former farmers in the past few years have moved into breeding bamboo rats, an Asian species. The trade is profitable and easy to set up.
我这里的面积的话，好像不到500个方，大大小小就是1000来个雏。
Mr. Jiang started this 9 years ago. Bamboo rats brought him about 15,000 euros a year, or 4 times more than his old salary.
还可以，就是说市场上基本上处于供不应求，因为它生长周期比较长，要1年以上才卖，就是说长到成年的话要1年以上，所以它的肉质很，就是说怎么说呢，就是很有嚼劲那种感觉。做很多种吃法都可以啊，焖啊、炒啊，它的肉质是很好的，没有异味的。
Mr. Jiang made a small fortune off of this, but because of the outbreak, he can't sell his rats anymore. A dramatic twist for the farmer, who had invested 70,000 euros at the start. Back then, he had received support from the local government, who saw these farms as a way to alleviate poverty. The authorities are now offering a small compensation. 10 euros for every rat he gets rid of. Not enough in his view.
我希望当然就是说，它最好就是说能以市场的价格把它处理掉啊，就是说。我们也不要求说是去赚钱，是吧？你把我们的那些成本。
The Chinese wildlife trade is a 68 billion euro industry. During the SARS epidemic in 2003, the Chinese government had already vowed to end the wildlife trade. The promise was not kept.
For several weeks, 1.3 billion Indians have been ordered to stay home to curb the spread of Covid-19. That lockdown is now being partially eased, with the government keen to help struggling manufacturers. Catherine Viette looks at how the restrictions have now tugged on the threads of the garment industry.
The factories are deserted, the sewing machines quiet. It's been almost 50 days since India's garment workers were told to stay at home under lockdown measures. It's the first time the director has entered since March 21st.
Look at the dust, look at this garment, is lying there. So everything is getting more spoiled. Huge losses, huge investment. You can see the whole fabric, they're all paid. And we have no income, no payment, totally blocked. It was the peak of the season.
Their clients are the big clothing brands in Europe and the US, and many have abandoned their Indian suppliers during the pandemic, canceling orders or withholding payment.
Buyers, they have whatever they have committed, they should take the goods. I agree, there is a problem. Their markets are closed. So many problems are there. But they are making a lot of money out of this.
With the factories closed, the country's garment workers haven't been paid in 6 weeks. And here there's no unemployment or much aid from the government. Shadawaz Elandu says his family hasn't eaten in days. In the next week or so, the garment factories could restart, but with only about 30% of its previous workforce, to comply with social distance measures meant to slow the spread of the virus.
Well, the closure of clothing factories has also sparked a major humanitarian crisis over the border in Bangladesh. This week's guest has recently focused his attentions and his lens on the suffering caused by Covid-19 there. These photographs all come from his latest project titled The Last Savings, and they highlight the plight of some of the 7 million slum dwellers, many of whom have been made redundant by the factory closures. We can speak now to the man who captured these images, the photographer Mohammed Rakibul Hassan. Thank you very much for being with us. First of all, why did you decide to do this slum project and focus on these communities in particular?
Thank you, Thomas. Because due to the COVID situation in Bangladesh, a lot of garments workers actually lost their job. And most of the garments factories are closed down, and these garments workers usually live in the slums in Dhaka, and they don't have enough money to survive for the next day. And I have checked their home and have talked to them, and they don't have enough food in their home to survive for the next day or next week. So they're in a very humanitarian condition, and I decided to focus the economic recessions, what is we are going to expect in Bangladesh. So these people should be in the highlighted, and as garment factories and garment industry in Bangladesh is very important for earning the foreign currency. So it is very important for the people who are vulnerable in our country, and most of the women actually from the villages, they work in the garment factories, and they're under serious condition right now.
Now, the photographs that you've taken are very powerful. How did you select the people that you've chosen to portray?
I have spoken to many people over there, and most of them are under the same conditions. So I have chosen them randomly in the slums. So, and these people do not have enough money, and most of them have a very large family over there living in the same room. So they don't have enough food they don't have enough money to live for the next day or next week. So they don't even know how they're gonna live for the couple of months if the lockdown continues for the rest of couple of months. So they're under very risky situation and feeling insecure that they have lost their job already, and how do they gonna find a new job, because this economic recession will sustain for over the year they're expecting.
Now, were the people that you spoke to more afraid of the COVID-19 virus or more afraid of poverty and hunger?
They are actually more afraid of poverty and hunger. They say that how they're going to live. So this virus can make problem, but they will probably die because of not, eating food. So they are in a very hard situation in their life.
Okay, Mohammed Rakibul Hassan, thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. Now, if you've travelled across Asia, you'll know that street food is huge, but the blanket of coronavirus lockdown measures is currently suffocating the business. Authorities have forced many vendors to pack up their stalls, but some have found new ways to ride out the storm. Catherine Kadir-Clifford reports.
Cooking up a new business plan to help street food survive the COVID era. This Singapore chef is helping street vendors advertise takeaway services online. His community has rallied around the project.
There are a lot of supporters who have been helping out, sharing this, and a lot of them are also helping out a lot of hawkers.
In Bangkok, this small hostel has launched a delivery service to support street food vendors. It links them up with customers in the area via a messaging app, taking a 15% commission, far lower than similar online services. It means the hostel can pay its staff whilst investing in the surrounding area's recovery.
We don't have to let our people go. But another thing is about help people around here, because we don't want to reopen this once again hostel in the middle of nothing.
On the streets of Yangon, some vendors try to continue their trade. They risk harassment from authorities, but feel they have little choice. A local crowdfunding project has been created to support them with both financial aid and protective equipment. Projects like these will be key to the survival of street food in coming months. As the region slowly emerges from lockdown, recovery for the industry will likely be slow and social distancing continues.
Okay, that's all from me and the rest of the Access Asia team. Do stay tuned to France 24. Our coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic continues.
Fake news. Noun. False stories that appear to be news, spread on the internet or using other media. At France 24, our job is to provide you with information that's been verified. We check sources, we check facts, we sort what is true from what is fake.
At the France 24 Observers, we verify photos and videos circulating online. If they're fake, we let you know and tell you how we spotted them.
In Fact or Fake, we dig into viral stories around Europe to shake out the truth from the trash.
Every day, the Info Migrants team scours social networks to fight fake news about the reality of migration.
France 24, news based on facts.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.